And for more on what is next for Libya and for the other dictators in the Middle East, we turn to former Assistant Secretary of State Jamie Rubin. He's also an expert on Middle Eastern affairs. Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here.
Nice to be with you.
And Liz kind of raised this in her report. It's easy to unite around a common enemy. It's much harder to unite around a common objective. Are they going to be able to create a new democracy that is stable in Libya now?
Not quickly and not easily, but I think the momentum is certainly on the right side. There's been a lot of goodwill in the international community, people in the region urging the success of this government. They're going to get help from abroad. They've got oil resources on their side. So the momentum is good. Unfortunately, for 4 decades, they've lived under this dictatorship, and there are no institutions, no civil society, no rule of law, none of the things that we in the West are used to that we call government exist there. It's a tribal structure, and if those tribes can find a way to share power, things can move forward successfully.
Yeah, you raised the point about the tribal structure in Libya, and there are more tribes in Libya than really any other place in the Arab world. For everything that he did, Qaddafi was able to keep some level of decorum among these different tribes. What's it going to take for the next round of leadership to do that, and can they?
Well, we don't know whether they will succeed in having the kind of stable, democratic government that the world would like to see. They certainly have started off reasonably well. They gathered together all of their opposition forces into some form of unified transitional council. They fought a war together. They had, as you said, a single objective of getting rid of Qaddafi. That's easier than building. So it's going to be difficult, and the West is going to have to provide help if we want it to succeed. Their neighbors are going to have to provide help if we want it to succeed. We don't want to see it devolve into a situation where one part of the country is fighting against tribes from another part, where different tribes are fighting, or where Islamic elements get the upper hand. But I feel optimistic about Libya because of the goodwill that exists in the world, the success of their revolution, the way in which the world united behind them. But it's going to be a really, really long road for them to get to a stable government.
I want to quickly get to the neighborhood because we've already seen images coming out of Syria with the people of Syria likening their leader Assad to Qaddafi, waving the Libyan flag in their town, suggesting perhaps that we'll see another overthrow. Do you think it's likely in both there as well as in Yemen?
Well, Syria and Libya are very, very different places. The world is not likely to unite around the idea of supporting the Syrian opposition because China and Russia are determined to be on the side of the dictator there, Mr. Assad. So the outside world is divided, and the internal situation is far, far different. Unfortunately, I think what we're likely to see in in Syria is a long-term, low-level conflict where people are fighting in the streets, where brave young Syrians are prepared to fight for their freedom, but the outside world has not figured out a way to help them.
All right. Well, we'll continue this conversation undoubtedly. Jamie Rubin, thank you for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.